All right. So today we are doing Haolam, Kulo, and Yedid Nefesh for the Shabbos segment of that song. So these two songs were a lot of fun to do some research on. And oh, look who's here. Michelle, number 7. Hi, Michelle.
Hey, what's up?
Not much. Give me 1 second. T's like waiting for it. She's like, okay. Nice. All right. So we are doing Haolam, Kulo, and Yedid Nefesh. So the first one is the very popular song that we sing at the Oneg, and it goes like so. Look forward to seeing T's face on this. The Avram Fried version. Okay, cool. I posted the link in the situation below. I don't know why it's freezing on me, but I was trying to jam. All right, whatever. You know the song. Basically, so where is this song from? What's the story behind this song? So this song is actually composed. It's not the original text. This song was composed by a man, Rabbi Baruch Chait. He is the son of one of the Rosh Yeshivas of Chavetz Chaim, and he's a Rosh Yeshiva of his own yeshiva. He's also a song composer, so he composed this song from the original text and the tune. So the main tune that you hear, which is the one that we sing in NTSY generally, Haolam, Kulo, Geshet Tzar. We have all the hand motions and stuff. So he composed that tune. He put that all together. Where did he get it from? Okay, so this song, you can find it is a pasuk located in a sefer called Likutei Moharan. Has anyone ever heard of this sefer before? Okay, so if anybody who knows this sefer, right away their brain will attach to where it is from. It is Likutei Moharan, part 2, 48, 2, and 6. This is a famous work of Chassidus. This is the compilation of the teachings of Rabbi Nachman Breslov. Yes, that Rabbi Nachman, the guys who jump on the vans, the ones who we chilled with, those guys who may or may not be on substances currently, we don't know. But those guys, those aren't real, those aren't the real Breslovs. But the Breslov is a Hasidic movement. And Rabbi Nachman, who is the great-grandson of the Baal Shem Tov, who is the founder of the Baal Shem Tov, also known as the Besht. A lot of times we'll take the initials and we'll call him, the Rashbi is Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. The Ramchal is Rabbi Chaim Moshe Lezato. Yes, Ramchal. So, Moshe Chaim Lazato. That's what I said. I didn't say it right. Ramchal. So the Besht, the Baal Shem Tov, his great grandson was the Rabbi Nachman from Breslov, and he ran the sect from the Breslov movement of Chassidus. So what is Chassidus, and what are the svarim of Chassidus as a whole? When we talk about Chassidus, so I'll just give you a quick little run through of what Chassidus is and where it sort of originates from and all that. So the Baal Shem Tov lived in the 18th century, which is around the 1700s, and he is the founder of the Chassidus movement. What is Chassidus as a whole? It is a not just a sect of Judaism, like it wasn't there back in the day. It became now, it's a sect of Judaism. When you say Chassidim, they're a sect of Judaism. But Chassidus was an ideology that was brought about by the Baal Shem Tov. At the time, it was met with a lot of opposition and criticism. There was a lot of beef between the Jews, with the Misnagdim at the time, were what they were called, the ones who bred to the Litvish community or the Yeshivish community. There was a lot of beef between these two sects. What was Chassidus? What did the Baal Shem Tov bring about? So the Baal Shem Tov was a Talmud of the students of Kabbalah, which really, really, really took off the ground in Tzfat in the 16th century. Kabbalah is, if you guys remember, went to Tzvat and there was all the blue all over the place, is really, really the mysticism of Judaism. It's the the depth of Judaism, the soul or the kishkas of Judaism. So Kabbalists became a big thing with the Ari in the 1500s, and then the Talmidim of the Kabbalists, the students of the Kabbalists, bred and led way to the Hasidic movement, starting with the Baal Shem Tov. So it's very Kabbalistic based, but what are the general principles of the teachings of Hasidus? So the teaching that focus on the depths and the secrets of the Torah and being a Jew, mostly dealing with mysticism and Kabbalah. And the main part of it, it was a revolution to bring joy and flavor back to Judaism, the focus being that every single Jew is not only special and has the potential for greatness. That is the basis of Hasidus. What happened then is what happened now, which is why I think Hasidus is more relevant today than ever before. I like to say that the modern day Kiruv movement is really just another blossoming of the Hasidus movement. At the time, Judaism became very robotic. It was in the 1700s, very robotic. People were just sort of following along halacha, and what ended up happening is it became very dry, and people were being lost. And the ideology of Hasidus was to bring out, to recognize in depth how beautiful every single Jew is, right? So, for example, when we're learning in yeshiva, most of you guys are in my class with from Chovas Al Tamid, and the Piazetzner Rebbe of Kloiman Kalman Shapira. He was a Chassid, teaching a Hasidus, and the whole first chapter talking about how special the individual Jew is. Those are Hasidus. Those are ideas of Hasidus. Rabbi Nachman also came up with the line, but he teaches the line, mitzvah gedola lios b'simcha tamid, that it's a mitzvah to be happy all the time. Judaism is about happiness. It's about singing. It's about dancing. That's why in Hasidic communities, they're all about the Tish. Literally, they have separate buildings that are built literally to just Tish. If you go, like I was in New Square for Shabbos, after New Square, if you go to the places in Meir Sharm or Sanhedria in Yerushalayim, after Friday night dinner, all the men of the community converge to one area, to this building, so they can literally just sing and chill and dance and bask in the beauty of Shabbos. It was to bring back the unbelievable joy of being a Jew, right? It was to celebrate every single aspect of Judaism, right? And when you wash your hands in the morning, you're not giddy and excited that you just did something amazing, but a Hasidic ideology is the most beautiful mitzvah ever of all time. The Chabad movement, which is also a sect of Hasidus, right? They just try to put tefillin on to you at any time. Why? Because the beauty of putting on tefillin in that moment is such an unbelievable thing. It is the celebration of every mitzvah and the celebration of every Jewish neshama. That no Jew is too far gone. That every Jew has the spark within him that they can become great. That's the Hasidic ideology. So a lot of teachings of Hasidus could be misconstrued as fluffy and beautiful, but they're not fluffy. They have real depth. The depth of the Torah and the deep, if you go into the mysticism of Torah, you'll realize that there is a lot of weight to every single Jew and every single mitzvah. So that's pretty much what Hasidus is all about. So Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, who is the founder of the Breslov movement, when you hear of a sect of Hasidim, it has to usually do between the town of where they were. Right? So Rabbi Nachman moved to the town of Breslov, so he's known as Rabbi Nachman of Breslov. And the Breslov Hasidim now, right? Most of them live, I think the most predominant, there's Kiryat Breslov, but in Tzvat. In Tzvat, there are a lot of Breslov Hasidim. There's a whole Breslov community that lives there in Tzvat. And they have the long payas and the Nanach Yamakas and all that good stuff. So Rabbi Nachman, his teachings of Hasidus were compiled into this sefer called the Likutei Moharan. Now, very rarely will you find something that goes from the works of Hasidus to become into mainstream Judaism across the board. But this song and this line is one of those exceptions. So what is the line itself that you'll find? The line itself goes like this: Vida she'adam tzarich lavod al gesher tsar me'od me'od v'haklal v'ha'ikar shelo yifached klal. Which translates to me, Vida means and know this, a person must cross a very, very narrow bridge, and the main rule is, do not be scared at all. That's the translation of the line, and this man, Rabbi Baruch Trey, he took that pasuk and he formed it into the song that we know and we sing today. So this pasuk concludes a section of the Likutei Moharan, which talks pretty much about what does it discuss? It says it talks about, and I'll read you some of it because I put the link in the notes here on Sefaria, which is do you guys know about Sefaria? It's an app and it's a website. This thing has every single bit of Torah you can imagine. Whoever put this thing together is such a brilliant genius, but I posted the link to Likutei Moharan. There's a lot of stuff in there. And I have a cool book on the essentials of Rabbi Nachman, where he pretty much takes a lot of his main ideas and forms it into a book. I also read a book this year, the Breslov take on Mashiach, which is very interesting, but everything is about the depth, the sod, the hidden secrets of the Torah. So this section of Likutei Moharan pretty much is talking about that when it comes to service of God, it can get very cloudy. And maintaining your faith and trust in service to God is an act of loyalty and holding on. So I'll read you just a little bit directly from the Likutei Moharan, so you see sort of what it is that he's talking about, and then you're like, oh, okay, it makes sense why he finished with this, talking about life is a narrow bridge and we got to hold on. So it says like this, and a person has to be extremely stubborn in his service to God. What does it mean, stubborn? He means pretty much like never letting up, like holding on, not to desert his place. The little bit of his service he has begun, no matter what comes his way. Remember this well, because you will have much need of it when you begin, even a bit in the service of God. Why? Because you're going to be challenged and tested. A person needs tremendous determination to be strong and courageous, to hold on and maintain his position, even if it causes him to fall time and time again, God forbid. This is pure Hasidus, like, to not give up hope, even though life will beat you down. For there are times when a person to fall from the service of God, as is known. Nevertheless, it's incumbent upon him to do whatever he can for the service of God, and now allow himself to fall entirely, to pretty much never give up and never lose hope. This is because one must surely experience all these falls, descents, confusions, and so on before entering the gates of holiness. It's a prerequisite to fall when you're in your service of God to reach that pinnacle level. And the true tzaddikim too underwent all of this, right? The righteous people that you know of all went through this. So he goes on to talk about it, that you're going to be challenged, that the Satan's going to come and he's going to challenge you, but you have to sort of hold on and not lose faith, right? So that's this line of Vidash Adam Tzarich Lavod Al Gesher Tzar Meod is the metaphor, the analogy of what life really looks like in service to God. That yes, you're going to be serving God, and guess what's going to happen? You should have every expectation that God is going to present challenges. You're going to be beaten down, you're going to fall. But loyalty can be expressed when you hold on to the idea. You don't give up just because you're being backed down from it, especially in this relationship. So, and he talks about being courageous. He says, don't fear. It's not that you shouldn't fear. Fear is inevitable. Fear is going to come, and it's going to make you scared. The what-ifs in life can torment a person. What if this? What if that? What if this is not what I'm supposed to be doing? All that. But guess what? Courage, prerequisite to courage, is fear. If there was no fear, which is why Hashem instilled fear in you, so that you have the opportunity to be courageous, so you have the chance to mechazik yourself, right? So when you're walking, and I want you to visualize, you know those movies, what was it, in Jumanji, where there's that like rickety rope bridge that leads across two massive valleys, two massive mountains, and there's just this endless drop of doom into like death. And you're walking and the wind's blowing and you're just like, it is an analogy. You're on it, you're actually safe, but you're terrified because death is sort of all around you, and it's a scary and it's an overwhelming thing. But that's sort of the picture that it paints. So I posted the link to the Likutei Moharan if you want to read that whole section in the notes that I have. So what was the song that Rabbi Sheikh derived from it? He veered off and he put together Kol Haolam Kulo Gesher Tzar Meod V'Ha'ikar Lo Mefachet Klal. The whole world is a very narrow bridge, and the main thing is to recall is to have no fear at all. The ikar, when we say shikar is the ikar. When we say what's the ikar, right? The ikar is like the main point, right? The ikar of the cholent is the meat, right? The ikar, what's funny, T? Yeah, I know. Okay, the ikar, it's like the main thing. The main thing that we're focusing on is what we say the ikar is. So even though life is this reality, he's not saying for some people, he's saying this is what life looks like. And even so, right, the ikar of this life, an aspect of this life, which is a constant, is that you shouldn't fear. Fear is there, But what does it mean to not fear? It means that you have courage through your fear, that you continue to move forward. And that is the analogy to service of God specifically. It's not just saying, oh, we go through hard times, but don't give up faith. What is Rabbi Nachman talking about specifically? He's talking about in your service to God. Right? We don't know that when we sing that. When we sing that, we say, the whole world is a very narrow bridge. Whatever, I don't know the hand motions to it. But Rabbi Nachman's talking about specifically, he's saying, in your service of God, you are going to be challenged. You are going to be beaten down. There's going to be fear there. But even though the times are dark, and you have to remember, the Hasidim went through some of the most horrific times of history, even before the Holocaust, but the Holocaust being the pinnacle of it. To not let go, to sing things like Ani Mamin, to recognize these realities is such an unbelievable thing. It's such an unbelievable level for a person to get to, but it's very, very important to keep in mind. So, the song is universally accepted as the song of courage for the Jew, and has become extremely popular in Israel, especially among the IDF. Every single IDF soldier in the entire state of Israel, past and current, knows this song because it's the song of courage for the Jew. It's the song of courage for the Jew, that even though there are scary things out there and you're going to be beaten down, we have to have faith. And it's very, very cool. When you see them, they all go to the kotel and they sing it. They sing it before they're going out to war. They sing it all the time. They always sing Haolam, Kulo. So this song has sort of made its way, this teaching of Rabbi Nachman made its way universally to the entire world. What is the kavana? What's the focus that we should have when we're singing this song, the next time we sing the song? And it starts off, by the way, the song itself, if you think about it, right, it's like, musically, right? It starts off Haolam, Kulo, and it's like there's like anticipation, like what's going to be Gesher Tsar Miod, and it's like a tense, but then when at the end of the song it picks up V'ha'ikar, because it's the response to that. So the song sort of moves you through the emotions of the song as well, the tunes and the melodies. But what's the focus? What's the kavanah? The kavanah is that the reality is the world is not rainbows and butterflies. That's not the way that God drew it up to be. He made us with fears, but it's the fear that breeds courage. Strengthen yourself and don't be afraid. Hashem is bigger than your problems. Talking specifically about the service to Hashem and the difficulty of what it is to serve Hashem, because that really is the ikar. And that's something that everybody needs to know. Right? You get inspired on TJJ and you're like, oh, this is going to be so easy. Oh, no, it's not. You can just ask anyone who has really, really worked hard to grow. Ask them if it was easy. It is not easy. It is very, very hard. Okay, that's why people bail out of it, because they're looking for an easy ride. It's not an easy ride. It's going to be a bumpy road, but you got to hold on. You got to be strong. You got to be loyal. You got to have courage and stay faithful. Any questions on this song specifically? I'll post everything in the notes after. No, we gooch? We excited to sing it? Yay. Okay. Moving on to the second song, the Shabbos song specifically. I'm going to take you guys out of Zmiros, because we've been doing already, we did 5 songs that we sing at the Shabbos table. And rather than go from the Zmiros today, I want to talk about some of the other songs on Shabbos that are relevant to Shabbos. So I want to talk about Yedid Nefesh. Yedid Nefesh you can find on your bencher, page 51, song 15, page 51, song 15, and it's in the Bencher app. Songs for the third meal, song 15. Yeah, it's interesting. For Haolam Kulo, it's song 48 in the Bencher, but on the app, it's song 47. I guess they had a different version. But in any case, Yedid Nefesh. So there are 2 times that we sing this song on Shabbos specifically. Okay? You can find this in your siddur right before Kabbalah Shabbos, and also by Sudat Shlishit or Shalashudis. There are 2 times that we sing this song. The first time we sing this song is Friday night before davening. Right before we start Friday night davening, we sing this song and this version of it. Let's get it up for you so we can turn up. T, you ready? I know she's ready. My interweb is a little slow.
Shalom. My name is O, which
Shalom.
is the Hebrew word for light.
I knew that.
If you already knew this, you must.
She read my mind. Recognize it or no? Yeah. So this is what we sing before Friday night, and you'll understand why when we talk about it a little bit. And the second time we sing it is by ebbing, when we start right after Shalosh Shudas. If you're not ebbing at your house, which why wouldn't you be ebbing at your house? You would sing it in the circle right when we get started, if you notice, right before benching. And this is that version. Sorry, it's the only one I can find. Yeah, they only had this. And then all the girl advisors go, All right, so I couldn't find a better version of that. I literally looked for a long time. It was hard to find the NCSY version, but I found one in a cappella, a bunch of old guys. But you recognize the tune, and we do that by ebbing. Okay, so let's talk about the song. So Yedid Nefesh. Yedid Nefesh, remember how we talked about in the other poems, poetic, because this is also poetic beauty. It's not about Shabbos. It's actually about God. So the author is usually, the initials are in the stanza, and there are 4 stanzas to Yedid Nefesh. Yedid Nefesh, Yud. Hadur No'eh, Hey. Vasik Yamuna, Vav, and then Higale Na, which is a Hey. Yud Ke Vav Ke, which spells out the name of God. So God obviously wrote this. No, God did not write this, but his name is in the stanza because it is actually a tribute to God, as opposed to him being the author for it. The author is a person by the name of Rabbi Eliezer Azikri. He was a 16th century Kabbalist, which fits really nicely to what we were talking about before. And he is from Tzfat, and that's where he is buried. And he was considered one of the great Kabbalists of his time, right around the same time as the Ari. He was a you can find where he's buried in Tzfat. There, he has one of those blue graves. He was a great rabbi. He was an author. He wrote Sefer Charedim, and he was a composer as well. So Yedid Nefesh is a song that he composed. What is Yedid Nefesh? It is a love song. It is a song of longing for closeness to Hashem. Now, I don't think anyone here is from TJJ 2008. Oh, no, Dasipu and Hannah. So I doubt you'll remember this, but it was our second Shabbos in Ein Gedi. We spent Shabbos in Ein Gedi. It was the second Shabbos at TJJ, and our tour guide, Yoni, he wanted to speak before Friday night davening. He wanted to talk about Yedid Nefesh specifically. Why? Is because it was his favorite song, and he wanted to talk about the love affair, I guess, the heart, the affection that is put into this poem and its beauty. It's really a love song to God. And if you read the words, they can waken up your soul to be able to connect. We'll go through the stanzas and we'll find some cool stuff there. But that's really what it is. It's meant to arouse the heart to feelings of love and longing before going into Shabbos and prayer. So essentially, it's like a pregame for prayer. And it focuses on, throwback to yeshiva, it focuses on the why. It's pretty much the framing process of somebody before they start Shabbos, before they bring in Shabbos, and before Shalosh Shudas, which, by the way, is the most climax time, the most powerful time of Shabbos, is right in the closing moments before it goes. So in these 2 moments, at its beginning and its conclusion, we sing the song Yedid Nefesh. Why? Because it's meant to arouse the love that we have to Hashem. It's meant to wake up our hearts and remember why we're doing what we're doing before we do the most important thing. Right? It's like right before you give your partner a gift, you say, I love you. That's what it is. It's a song and a tribute to God. I love you so much. Now let's start Shabbos. God, I love you so much. Let me ebb my heart out, before I start this experience. It's the framing process that deals with the why. And if you're in my class in yeshiva, then you understand we talk about that quite a lot. The why of why we do what we do. So with that in mind, let's look at the beautiful song in and of itself, if you have it there. So there's 4 stanzas. I highlighted a line in each stanza that I put in the notes that you can find here. So the first stanza, Yedid Nefesh of Arachaman, beloved my beloved of the soul of Arachman, my father is compassionate. The words Mishoch Avdecha El Ritzonecha. Mishoch Avdecha El Ritzonecha, which means draw your servant. Mishoch Avdecha, draw me your servant. I'm your servant. El Ritzonecha, to your will. What are we doing? We're asking Hashem to initiate this process, to bring us closer, to assist us with our desires to be close, which is his desire as well. This gets lost all too often. It's saying like, God, when I want to be close with you, God, please initiate that process. God, you want me to be close with you also? Please initiate that process. Open up my heart and draw me towards you, right? To begin this sort of this poem of love and longing. When you long for someone, as you miss them, you want to be close with them. You want to, you're thinking of them constantly. So we're saying, draw your servant close to you. Open up my heart. I'm asking you, God, for assistance. It would be kind of awkward if you went over to someone and said, I really want to be close with you. Can you help me? Like, that could be kind of awkward. But with God, it's not, because God can assist you in that pursuit. You want to be close with God? God can help you become closer with God. By opening up your heart and drawing you towards him. So that's what that line is. In the second stanza, we talk about Hadur Noe Zivoy La Moinaf Shichoila Savosecha. This is my favorite line in this song, and it's also similar language is used in David HaMelech's Tehillim. It's also used in the song Kayach, which is one of my favorite Shabbos songs. I love this line. Hadur Noe Ziva Olam. Majestic, pleasant one, radiant of the majestic, pleasant one, radiance of the universe. Nafshi choilas ahavasecha. When we talk about you choile nefesh, it's a sickness of the soul. What is choile? Choile means someone who's sick. Nafshi choilas ahavasecha. My heart, my soul is sick for your love. Nafshi choilas ahavasecha. I love that line because of the imagery that it provides. It's like I'm lovesick. I am so like I'm in pain being away from you. It's like when you love someone and you haven't seen them in a long time and it actually physically hurts you, you're lovesick, right? When someone's heart is broken, they're lovesick. Nafshi cholas avasecha. My soul is sick for your love, and I'm literally feeling pain by being far away from you, God. It's such powerful wording when you think about it. And when you think about that, the source of our tsaros, of our pain in life, really comes from being in galus, which essentially means being distant from God. Because when I know that I'm close with you, God, I know that things are okay. I feel connected to you. I feel good. And when I'm far away from you, it torments me. And I love that, because that line is just like, God, I'm sick for your love. Yeah, Shnerosh, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I feel like that love sickness is like feels super applicable right now, because like we're not seeing anybody. So just like I miss all my friends.
Right. Yeah, there is. I mean, God willing, I hope no one here ever has their heart broken. But yeah, there's something wrong. I'm not sure what's wrong. And then you're like, maybe it's because I've been lacking something. And when you get to that realization, I'm lacking something, it's like, now I long for it. I really desire it. I miss it so much. A lot of people feel this way after TJJ, right? The month or the second month afterwards, you'll get that on the group chat at like 2 a.m. Like, oh my God, guys, I miss it so much. Look at my picture. Right? But what do they do? People really feel pain. It's like, I miss that. I miss being there. And in the same way that a person can, in times in their life, feel really connected and close with God. For myself, I know I have. That's why when I sing this on Shabbos, it's like, God, I'm really void without you in life. I really want to be reconnected and close with you again. I feel sick that I'm so distant from you. It's such beauty. It's poetry. It's really poetry. I'm not one to get all crazy about poetry, but this is truly a beautiful poem. Stanza number 3. Vasik yemuna rachamecha v'chusana al beinohuvecha. Faithful one, may your mercy be aroused and please have pity on your beloved son. Right? V'chusana al beinohuvecha. Have pity on your son. Like a parent who will never reject their child, no matter how distant we have been, we are calling to that love and that mercy. The greatest love that can exist is from a parent to a child. That's the way Hashem set this world up to be. And no matter what you do, how many times you say, I hate your life and you ruin my life, and you slam the door, or you can even, cut your parents out of your life, right? unless there is some severe mental illness, a parent will never abandon their kid. They will always welcome them back. They will always take them back no matter what. And we're arousing that mercy in God and saying, God, like, I'm your child, and yeah, I've been distant from you. I've been distant from you. I know I haven't spoken to you in a long time. I know I haven't been the best I can be. Maybe you don't want me back. No, God, I'm your child. Love me, take me back. Where we're trying to arouse and the mercy. Yemuna rachamecha, like arouse the mercy that you have, the chusana, and please take pity al ben ahuvacha, on your son that you love. Remember, you loved us, you created us. Please have mercy and pity on me, take me back in. So this is also, it's just a powerful way to approach this sort of love, this desire to be close with God. So if you guys have the NCSY sitter that I think we gave out one summer, it's the Koran one, it's the big fat bulky one that has the pictures and stuff like that. It's very cool. So I was looking at it to see what they had to say on Yedid Nefesh, and this was the line that they highlighted. If you remember, Rabbi Rose gave this he gave this story over. It's a really powerful story. He gave it over on TJJ. I heard him over say it, I think, in one of his tefillah chaburas. But he talks about the story of the kid who was really distant from his family and his parents, and he didn't talk to them for a long time. And he was he was so ashamed and embarrassed when he got older, more mature. Anyone even remember this story? He wanted to go back to his parents. He wanted to go back to his family, but he was so scared and embarrassed. Will they receive me or whatever? He sent them a letter saying to his parents, he said, listen, I know that I'm too embarrassed to show up. I don't know if you ever want to see me again. I haven't spoken to you in years. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the train, and I'm going to take my train. I'm going to ride it past the station in the town, in the city that we live in. There's that old oak tree that we all know. I'm going to sit there on the train. I'm going to look out the window, and I'm going to, see if you want me back, Dad, if you still love me, tie a white ribbon onto that tree. And when I get on the train and when I look out the window, if I see it there, I'll come off the train. I'll know to come home. But if I don't see it, then I'll just, I'll move on with my life, and I'll know that you never wanted me, that you don't want to see me again. Is the story recalling to anyone? Remember it? I remember Rabbi Rose gave it. Anyway, so he's on the train. He's freaking out. He's bugging out. He explains to the passenger next to him. Long story short, he says, I can't look out the window. It's too painful. I don't know what God's going to, not God. I don't know what my father's going to respond. He said, can you look outside of the tree for me? And when he gets there, he's looking at the face of the man, and the face of the man is in shock. He's like, what's wrong? What do you see? He said, every single branch on the tree has a white ribbon around it. Because your parents will always love you, and they'll never turn their back on you. They'll always, always want you to come home. And we are sort of arousing that idea. God, you love us. Of course you want us back. We've asked for assistance. We said, God, please assist me in coming back to you. I miss you so much. Then when the second thing we ask is, and the next thing, I'm lovesick for you. I miss you so much. God, arouse the mercy that you have, Al Ben Ahuvecha, on the child that you love. And when you're singing this song and you have the kavanah of the words that you're saying, this song takes you from where you are to where you want to be. And that's why we do it. We frame it right before we do Kabbalah Shabbos, before we actually welcome to in the Shabbos for that intimate time that we're going to have with God, and before the time of ebbing at the end. T, you had a question, or you were just stretching? Nice. Okay, stanza number 4.
There was a fly.
What happened?
There was a fly.
Oh, nice. Higale na ufrois chavivi alaya suka shlomecha. Another beautiful line. Please reveal yourself to me, my beloved, and spread over me your shelter of peace. Okay? So higale na, please reveal yourself. Ufros chavivi, my beloved. Ufros chavivi alai, my beloved, spread upon me as sukkah shlomecha. The word sukkah, we'll talk about shlomecha. In English, this means let us be able to see and feel you, right? Reveal yourself to me, as in come out of hiding, God. Sometimes it's very hard to see you. Come out of hiding. Come give me a hug, right? I'm home. Take us under your wing and make us feel whole with you. That's what this stanza opens up with saying, is like, take me under your wing and shelter me in your completeness. It's like, come together to join in this sort of harmony. So what is he talking about? He said, sukkah shlomecha, in the shelter. So this makes reference to the sukkah, which represents what? The shelter of Emunah. What is the sukkah? The sukkah is after the process of leaving Egypt and taking you to be my nation. We sat in the sukkahs in the wilderness. After going through Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, we got in a fight with God. We did teshuvah. We rebuilt it. Now sit in the house of God. The sukkah is the shelter. It's the place of emunah. It's God's house. We leave our homes, and the security of our homes and our structure is to sit out there to recognize that, God, security only lies with you. I'm in your shelter. I'm spending time in your house. We're saying, God, take us under your wing. Shelter us with your love and reveal yourself. Let us know that you're out there. Right? It's like the progression through the song of just be with me. Now that I'm with you, like expose yourself to me, reveal yourself from Hezder Panan, and spend time with me to make it meaningful. And that's the last stanza of the song, which goes through Hashem's name, as we said in the beginning. So what to have in mind when singing this song, right? I think when I say this, I think I could speak with everyone, because if it's not even a constant, it's definitely most of the time. Think, God, I feel distance from you. I feel very distant from you, but I don't want to feel distant from you. Please bring me closer to you. Please bring me closer. That's the kavanah before you sing this song. God, I feel very distant from you for many reasons. Please bring me closer to you. I miss you. I miss feeling your presence. I miss being with you. I miss being connected with you. It's what I want. God, I love you. Bring me close to you. That's the kavanah that a person should have for Yedid Nefesh. Really a beautiful, beautiful poem, and I encourage you to go through it, look at it word by word, and see, like, a lot of times, these poems can come up with the wording, with the words that we want to say. We just don't know how to articulate. A lot of times you could connect to someone else's words because they've done a good job for you. Okay. Any questions on Yedid Nefesh, on the song? Everyone knows when we sing it, now knows what's up next Shabbaton. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming out. Next week,
Thank you, Avi.
Thank you, Hannah. I'm not going to be here on Thursday and Monday. I have a wedding, so I will most likely might do it Erev Shabbos, might do it Friday afternoon if you guys are available, and if not, then we can just skip it off. There's 2 weeks left to the officially. So yeah. Anyway, great to see everyone. Have an amazing Shabbos if we don't speak to you.
Bye, Avi.
Thank you.